All right. Welcome to the Inspiration Series. I am so excited to be here with my good friend and artist, Jen Arron. This all got started because Jen and I actually did a live, and at first I was just, calling out to Jen as a good friend to help me talk about clean eating and food and how it impacted her life to promote my upcoming program, the 10-day reset. But once we sort of got on and got going, it turned into this really beautiful and I will say quite impactful conversation about women and body image and the challenge to love your body. And it was so beautiful and impactful that I wanted to sit down with Jen again and get into a little bit of a longer conversation about all of those things. So, welcome, Jen. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I love your weave in the background. Could you talk a little bit about that piece and what's going on there?
Well, I'm taking advantage of being able to use it as my background here on this live or on this video. I mean, because in a few weeks it's going to be installed in its permanent home at the new Gladstone Hotel.
Wow.
So it is a commission that I'm really proud of and excited for. And it's giant. It's actually like 7 by 10 feet. It's so tall. It
Wow.
goes down there. So um yeah, it's going to be in one of the guest rooms. It's all newly renovated and newly done, the Gladstone. And so it's been my little not little, it's been a pandemic project that has allowed me to like dive right in and express myself in quite a crazy winter.
Wow, it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank
Gorgeous
you.
to see it in person. Oh my God. All right, so let's dive in, Jen. I want to talk about your journey with mindset
Mhm.
and your connection to your body. Because just to put it out there, before we start this conversation, and I'm gonna actually state my intention for this conversation. I'd love you to state yours. So my intention with this conversation for people is that they understand that the challenge to love your body is something that they're not alone in. It's something that we all, I think, at some point in our life will face, and how to start to work towards the practice of loving. That's my intention for people from this. Do you have a specific intention?
That's beautiful, first of all. I I'm just here to be honest and open, and I'm intending for you to lead the way. I
Hey.
I'm gonna let you be the leader, and I will be the follower. And that's an intention I need to set because otherwise I run away with the show. And I really love what you said, that it's a decision to start and it's a practice. It's not a flip a switch situation. Um, for me, it hasn't been. So I guess honesty, openness, and willing to be led by you. Those are my intentions.
Okay, beautiful. So let's start with, I'm going to dive right in and kind of just get deep and real right from the beginning. So I'd love to know if you can remember. We were just talking about this actually before the interview. Can you remember how old you were when you actually started to be aware that your body was something that maybe was being judged or that you were being judged on? Like, do you know what age you actually awoke to that? I actually am not sure, so I'm curious if you do.
Um, I mean, I think it's wrapped up in a million layers of like adolescence and, you know, uh, well, I mean, really growing up like at summer camp, right? And that, just kind of free, open, like all girls in the bunk getting naked and changing and showering and all that stuff. I didn't have any bad experiences, but I definitely it was like a literal comparison because you're looking around, and it was a an open sort of um view of like all these other bodies. Um so I guess I guess that's where it started, though I hadn't really thought about it till this very second.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then did you feel pressure to like look a certain way, wear a certain thing? Like I know as you were saying that about summer camp, I started to even think about myself and I know that for sure I did feel a pressure and even to walk around in a certain way and like
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like, and even just, I mean, I went to the literal there with, like, literal nakedness at camp, but no, like, for sure, I come from a family where appearance is important, and, my community is, like, trendy, fashiony, my family is very fashion, shopping, makeup, my mom is always put together, she's super glam, no one will ever see her without lipstick on, um, so yeah, like, it was almost just, um, part of my world, I guess, from the beginning
Mhm,
to, present, right?
mhm. And did you love your body growing up when you were young? Do you remember being comfortable in it? Do you remember wishing it was different than it was? How did that sort of start in your mindset?
I think that started, probably around puberty, I was definitely not the skinny girl.
Yeah.
I wasn't like the bony skinny girl. I had some I had some curves, and I remember going to buy, back in the day, I went to buy a bathing suit. My cousin and I were going to buy matching bathing suits, and they were like one pieces that had a hole cut out here. And I remember I must have been 10 or 11, I think. And my mom was like, she was hesitant. She was kind of like, I don't think you should buy that. Like, I don't think that that's right for you.
Yeah.
And so it stuck with me ever since. And I know exactly what the bathing suit looked like, the whole thing. Um, I didn't have,
I just want to pause there for a sec because
I don't want to blame my mom though. I mean, she might watch this.
we we're more high level than that. We don't blame anyone. We don't blame anyone for anything. Blaming in or out hurts you. So we don't do that. But I just want to pause here for a second more to illuminate the power of our opinions as parents on our young children. That's all.
Hmm.
And it's the power of our words and suggestions. And especially, I mean, I don't have daughters. Um, I don't think it really matters, but I think the mother daughter sort of relationship around body image and weight can be a very powerful one. And just again, to just watch and take a deep breath sometimes before we make our suggestions. That's all. And the power of our suggestion.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you remember that became sort of in you, and then what? You became uncomfortable or judgmental. What sort of happened as you grew into more your womanhood?
Um, Yeah, definitely self-judgmental, definitely, always looking in the mirror like, "God, I wish I was 2 inches taller," you know, like, sucking in my stomach, like, going to the side view, like, comparing myself to, um, either, like, magazines, like, models, or even just, like, my beautiful friends, um, you know, I think there was a lot wrapped up in the way I looked, and like getting love. Like, could I get a boyfriend? Like, I'm going way back to like teenagerness, but like, would someone like me if I looked a certain way? Do they not like me because I look this way? Those kinds of thoughts. And now, of course, I look back 25 years ago at pictures and I'm like, God damn it, I should have just worshipped that gorgeous body. Because, I mean, I didn't know what I had at the time. All I saw was, what was potentially wrong or what wasn't totally right, in my opinion. So that's judgmental.
Yes, very.
Yeah.
And I think regardless of our size or shape, I think a lot of women at that age growing up, especially with the pressures and like you said, the appearance being so much a part of our worth, or we're taught that it is. A lot
Mhm.
of us are looking in the mirror thinking what you just said, right? Like what's
Mhm.
wrong, what could be better, what's not enough.
Yeah.
And then that leads to so many things. I've never heard it illuminated in the way you said it around your appearance and your ability to obtain love. That's really interesting.
For me, that's how it rooted, I guess, or got really intertwined. I've done a lot of detangling of that now in my adult years, but yeah, I think I really crisscrossed those two ideas for a long time. Um, you know, about how I looked directly affecting the quality of my relationships.
So, how did that, looking back now with the awareness you have and having gone on the growth to change that, how did that mindset or that sort of narrative that you had around love and worth and appearance being connected, how did that impact you, first and foremost, with the pressure you put on yourself and
Yeah,
impact the relationship?
I mean, I ended up in a lot of places I probably shouldn't have been, like I was looking for love in a lot of the wrong places. Um and I mean, ultimately though, I can say on this side of the scope, like had I not gone to all those wrong places or kind of been searching in anywhere besides right inside myself, really, had I not done that, I wouldn't realize now how grateful I am that I can feel really good inside my body and appreciate what I have, who I am, what I look like. Then I understand it's all really one, right? Like I understand now that I am not my body. I am in my body, right? And I think um I I I really wasn't aware of that a long time ago. It's just an awareness.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I'll repeat that. I am not my body, I am in my body.
Mhm. Right? Like, I mean, I've heard this a lot and I embody this, right? We are spiritual beings having a physical experience. I believe that, right? I'm not Jen. I'm not this body. I'm just in this body and my body has a name, right? So I take care of it, but it's not indicative of who I am, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, yes, and then we have so many old things that keep us away from that truth, like what you described, right? How we start really believing that it's so fused,
That's right.
our worth and our body and our appearance and how we look, and more so than just even that, all the external things.
Yes. And like for years, I would, you know, um, like find the quick fixes, right? The diet, the restriction of whatever it was food that I would cut out at the time in order to lose the 5 pounds, or the I'm not really an exerciser, but at times I've even gone the exercise route. Like, and that for me is a big deal. Um, Meaning that I was sort of searching and desperate all the time to um look different than I was, right? And that's exhausting. It is exhausting and it's not a good productive use of my creative energy. So, like, I understand that now. And at the time, I didn't, over all these years. But as soon as I became aware that so much of my mental power, like just my mental thoughts, right? So much of this light, like if you look at it like a pie, a huge slice of the pie in the background was running. What are you eating? You're not exercising, either even getting down on myself because I'm not an exerciser, right? Or all these things, or putting these like, well, I'm going to run 6 days a week. I'm not a runner. Like, and I don't do anything 6 days a week. Like, so like these kinds of expectations I would put on myself really was actually just detracting from like my focus in life.
Wow. Wow, it's so interesting. It also shows the amount of energy that a lot of women, and I know you and I and so many people, we're not alone in this, spend thinking about how they're going to change their body from a negative perspective. Like, I have to change it. I can't eat this because I have to exercise because I'm negative and I need to make it positive, and how detrimental that is as well to the changes that we want to make versus coming from a place of, I love this body and I want to keep it and make it as healthy as possible with my choices.
Yes.
Sort of talk to the shift that you had around that.
Yeah. And that's the best part. like, um, because I think in my mind, I just thought it was really black and white, like, i.e., if I don't fit into those jeans and I can't wear that style of top or whatever, then it means something, right? It means that that I'm not where I want to be. Um, I don't look how I need to look or would like to look. And the thing is
And
that
for what? Like, can you finish that? And therefore what?
um and therefore, I guess with my long-term narrative, like I'm not lovable, but really to myself, like I'm not, maybe there's a self-worth piece in there for sure. Um, Now that I'm on the other side, like I've crossed the threshold of accepting myself and feeling like actual gratitude for my body. Um, I would say that um I'm more powerful this way. So, more powerful just meaning like I'm sure of who I am and what I look like and what that means for me. And so, I guess the old way, was that I was if I didn't look that way, if I couldn't fit into those jeans or wear that dress or be that person, like or that I wouldn't be some other kind of woman. That's what I think it was about. I was searching for like a validation for myself with my external appearance,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Like this is really kind of like a therapy session, Jones. Like you're
Is it bringing stuff up in you? You're just sharing so beautifully.
well, like I mean, listen, I've been through a lot of therapy. So it's no, but it's helping me articulate um, you know, my body image journey, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think like so many women that watch this, Jen, are going to be like, that's my journey. I mean, I feel that, in a way too, because especially with the camp days, but really, I'm sure anyone, even if they didn't go to camp, school days, high school days, when everyone's in the bikinis and the short shorts. And I think about those girls that just couldn't put on those bikinis and short shorts. Maybe
Yeah.
their mom made a comment, or maybe there's no way. And the way they must have felt, and the value and the worth and the narratives that they must have started. And then even the girls who were wearing the bikinis, it was still like, oh, like, look at what I'm getting for being able to wear this. And that sets a whole other level of stories and narratives that are also equally as harmful.
Hmm.
And when your worth is connected to anything that can change, your worth becomes changeable.
That's right.
And we don't want that. You know that you've helped me with that when I'm down. Our worth is fixed. So, of course, you're more powerful
Yeah. It's fixed and it's infinite,
and infinite. Yes.
right? It is.
Yes.
We in our generation were not taught that.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't modeled for me. It wasn't taught to me um in this exact way.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. I, like you, had a mother, always still to this day, with the lipstick, appearances were important. Your worth was based on how you looked, your successes, your money, your perfection, or the appearance of it. That's how we were led. And then we realized, oh, no, no, that led to a lot of things that we didn't like. And when we can own our power from the inside, like Jen said before, and realize this is a body that's always going to be changing. So if my worth is connected to that, then my worth is always changing. No,
Right.
I'm going to create a place where my worth comes from the inside, and those things are always going to change, and it doesn't change my worth.
I mean, that's the goal, right? Like, and that's the best place to be in because otherwise, there's a lacking. And when I don't know, I just feel really aligned now with um, all this being not only just okay, but it's me. And
Mhm.
I'm the only one who looks like this and who acts like this and who has this energy and who is this way. Like where I used to think like, "Ooh, I'm different." Like I'm an artist, right? So growing up, with a lot of like I didn't grow up in an artist family. I grew up in a very conventional family. So I always felt a bit that played into it. This I'm a little on the outside. Um, and now I've just shed that all and it's like cuz it's exhausting and not nobody cares. Like I was the one caring so much about that. Now I can just be me.
Yeah.
I'm not putting anything on or putting anything out. It's just more like I kind of like shed the layers of bullshit
Yeah.
and constraining and constricting and squeezing myself into um, something else that I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Could you also talk about the belief system? Because I think that's really important. I think there's so many women who screw themselves up with their health goals, so to speak. We don't just talk body goals, just health goals,
Mhm.
because they are constantly telling themselves, like, oh, oh, my belly, I've had kids and now my belly, it's always going to be like this, or oh, I hate my body. And just sort of how you were able to shift that, and then what came from that for you.
So as you mentioned, like I've been studying mindset work for over 3 years now, and I know you are as well. So it's funny in all the mindset work I've worked on like all of these things that I kind of touched on before, right? Like how to um, get in touch with who I really am in order that I can radiate it and then attract the success in my life based on an alignment.
So in it, Jen, like, people have no idea what the mindset stuff is, right? Because people watching might not even know what that means. So just speak about it from that place.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's a study and a practice really of like, developing like a morning routine where I write every morning. I do gratitudes. I set goals for myself and just personal goals. They're goals for me in whichever area. It might be with my career, it might be in my family, it might be for myself. Um and I sort of fine tune my outlook each day. And so when I say I've studied this and I continue to study it, I am learning how to fully connect to like creating that outlook for myself that I'm moving in the direction that I want to be moving. So part of that is clarifying what that means, like what is the direction that I want? What do I want from my life? What do I want in my career? What do I want in my relationships and my relationship with myself? So once I'm continue to clarify and explain that for myself, then I practice connecting to that using various mindset tools, but to connect with that desire and that direction every day. And ultimately, I move in that direction every day because of these incremental shifts that I make, sometimes almost even um, um, I, unnoticeable little shifts, right? But then some of them are big. And like, okay, so that's kind of mindset work in a nutshell, if you could say
That's
that. So, and I really worked on for the past 3 years, I've worked on, my career, my relationships, these things. And then about, I guess it's 6 months, almost a year ago, because it was almost a year ago last summer, that we went on that canoe trip. And I kind of knew that the last piece of the puzzle really was the body stuff. Because, I have a child, I have a almost 8-year old, and it I was carrying around a lot of stuff from childbirth. There I was with the emergency C-section that I didn't want. I didn't really move into motherhood gracefully. It was hard for me. And I didn't have these mindset tools then that I do now. So my attitude stunk. And I just, I had been judging myself for so many years about how I was as a young, like as a new mother. And I realized last year that that was impeding my real ability to feel good in my body, because I think I finally understood, like, oh my God, I've been hating my body because I felt like it betrayed me. I was like doing prenatal yoga every day. I was maybe not even going to get an epidural. Like, I was like, rah rah, I'm having this amazing pregnancy, healthy, happy, empowered, and all of a sudden, like, train wreck, this sort of birth C-section, like, just split me open. And I personally didn't recover entirely. So I kind of decided last year, like, enough is enough. I'm now over 40. I I can see that my metabolism is changing, my body is changing, my old tricks don't work anymore. I don't even understand what is going on here. And I've got stuff to do now, right? Like, I've got a great career, a beautiful family. I don't have time for this bullshit of, like, sorry, but I don't have time to be running around with fad diets and um, a lot of restrictive eating, and that energy, mental energy, that it was taking up for me. It was taking up too much space. I've got stuff to do. I'm a woman on the move now. And you know and I was really bigger than I've ever been. And I started to just say, well, you know what, I'm just going to buy the size up. I'm just going to buy the clothes that are a size up. That's my way of accepting it. I don't care. I'll just make it work. I'll figure out what works with my new body type. But, like, deep down inside, I was like, this is not good, because I still am hating myself. I don't want to be the bigger size, not because I don't not because I'm not in a vain way, but, like, I wasn't feeling healthy. So um so I'm kind of going off track here, but I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. So what you're saying. What you're saying is that the shift from hating, judging, all the mental space, all the depriving, which actually ended up taking you to the biggest you'd ever been in your life, and then you getting to this point where you're like, no, I don't want to be here either. So then,
Yes.
how did we get? Because
What
I
happened?
most women just stay there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because it's
There,
really
they stay
hard.
stuck, they stay fighting their bodies, they stay up and down, yo-yoing their whole life, hating, depriving, back and forth. So
Yeah.
again, this video is about telling people you don't have to stay there. You can actually.
No. Yeah. so what happened? So, and I mean, I'll tell you what, when you talk about yo-yoing and up and down, I didn't even know how to go down. I couldn't even lose 5 pounds if you paid me $1 million, right? Because over 40, my metabolism, like everything was stuck, including me. And so I think out of desperation, I just decided to apply what I've been learning in the mindset work because I saw it happen with my career. I literally changed careers from a photographer to a fiber artist, a weaver. And I was like, if I applied these same principles that I learn about and study, like it could be an experiment. I literally have nothing else to try. Like I don't know what else to do. And so I started with you know, the gratitude piece and I know it's such a buzzword right now. It's even on your shirt, but it's true. I just decided to love myself. And I said, okay, well, what does that mean? I mean, I'm not going to fake it till I make it. I'm going to try to, in my own way, nurture myself and mother myself and love this skin and even this skin. Right. And I told you on the live actually that I didn't even realize. I started to do it when I would just put lotion on after the shower. And so I started to notice that, oh my God, like I for a long time had not been lotioning my whole midsection. I didn't even want to give it hydration. I hated it so much. And I didn't even realize that's what I had been doing. So pump the lotion and I was like, I love you, tummy. I love you, thigh. And I was like, it sounds ridiculous, but I know that it works because I have done it in my mindset work. I know what it is to stand in front of the mirror and tell yourself you love yourself as a practice in order to train your brain through repetition on a daily basis, a message you would like yourself to embody. I understand that. Okay. I understand that. I already knew that worked. And if you don't know that it works because it sounds hokey and it's new to you, I would invite anybody to try it with a belief and letting go of the fact that it feels totally weird. It does at first. So I knew that it worked in my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna just make it work for my body. And so again, just I love you, body. I love you, neck. Like it's like a good night moon, but and I love you for your body, right? And it just started to kind of soften like my this about how I was feeling about my body and my size and my shape. It just all just started to soften and I was like, okay, like I don't have to define it. I don't have to talk about it. I don't have to eat a certain way. I can just sort of day by day just be it here. And then I know also from my practices and studies that like when you shift your internal set point, the universe conspires for you. Okay, that's true. I've watched it happen so many times in my career. And so naturally, I'm practicing all this love of my body and I'm not really I'm letting go of the fact that I don't know if I'm going to lose weight or become thinner or any of these things. I was just kind of like all I'm doing is loving my body. I love my body. That's it. And then my husband, lo and behold, comes home one day and he says, "We're doing a 3-day juice cleanse, Jenny. That's it." And I was like, "Okay." So we did this cleanse. I called you. Jody, you'll be so proud of me. I'm eating bone broth and green juice and all this stuff. And after that, we both felt so energized and um so clean. And we decided to see as we introduced foods back, like, could we maintain this? Not maintain this style of eating. Obviously, we needed to bring back solid foods, but could we maintain this feeling of energy without coffee and energy without sugar and energy without that indulging all the time feeling? And I'm telling you, it's now 7 months later and, like once a week, we totally just go get burgers and pizza. Um, And it but but for 85% of the time, we're clean. I'm sugar free 85% of the time, and I don't crave that food anymore. I just don't. It's bananas. I don't fully you understand it. I don't really get
More
it, but
importantly, how do you feel in your body? That's the most, like, how is your body? How does it feel?
it feels great because it just feels like me. It feels I'm I'm physically not inflamed anymore, but I'm emotionally not inflamed anymore about it. So I feel at ease.
Yeah.
I feel like, am I, my best weight of my life? No. Do I look like I did on my wedding day? No. But I'm at ease here in this body. And, lo and behold, my clothes fit better and I'm not up a size and all that stuff. But it's not because that was my intent,
Right.
right? My body is now just at the weight that it's at, and I'm taking care of myself based on energy levels and always with the self love. I love you. And I'm lotioning every little bit, saying I love you. And it's now my belief. I practiced it so much, I believe it.
And I have to agree. Like, I'm going to share a really quick anecdote and then we're going to finish up. But, I, after I had my second, just kept gaining and gaining and gaining. And it was very hard for me. And I didn't understand it. And I eat well and work out. That's not my issue. It's never been. That didn't change either. And it wasn't making sense. And I had a conversation with someone, a mindset coach, actually, not the Adele, and she mirrored back to me my thoughts every day about my body, and they were this: I'm so stuck, I'm so bloated, I'm 6 months pregnant, my stomach's so bloated, these kids have ruined my body, I'm never going to get it back, I'm always going to feel gross, my body's so heavy, it doesn't work anymore. Like, this is every day, no matter what I do, it doesn't make a difference. And she
Yeah.
shared that all back to me. And this was about a year ago, actually, a year ago this summer. And I was like, wow. She's like, how are you going to get to where you want if that's what you're thinking? That's what you're going to get. And from that day forward, I didn't believe it. It took me a long time to believe it, but I love my body. I feel amazing in my body. I feel light in my body. I feel incredible, even though I didn't at the time. I felt all the other things, but I just kept moving and it was very slow.
Yes.
Year it took for me to get to my goal weight, and I'm about 2 or 3 pounds, semantics, who cares, away from it, but it was a big drastic change. And it took persistence and it took staying with that mindset and that belief, many months of not feeling it but staying with it. And I can speak for it, I've lived my way into my goal with body and how I feel, just like I have with other things. It took persistence and a year. But that's the other thing, because I think a lot of people give up after the first minute, right? They'll do something,
Totally.
it doesn't work, and it's not working, and it's not working, and I'm giving up. And when you're building a new belief system, it's going to take a lot more than a minute. And I can speak to what Jen's saying, because I went on a similar journey, and it wasn't the diet, it wasn't the exercise, it wasn't the keto or the paleo or the anything or the intermittent anything. In fact, it was simply starting to love what I had hated, starting to believe in again what I felt was failing me and had failed me forever. I've had kids, I'm over, I'm doomed. No, no. And oh, the power in that, and the
Yeah.
energy. And at the beginning, the energy it takes to build a new belief about your body when you've been hating it for so long can feel like a lot. It can. But as Jen was so beautifully illuminating, the energy it takes fighting it is so draining to people. So put
Yeah.
the energy in at the beginning, because it will end up leading to so much more freedom and, like Jen said, creativity. And she's a woman, she's got fucking shit to do. Well, I feel the same. Like, I don't have time to worry about my body and my appearance. I just want to, I love it. and move on, right?
Yeah.
We got the world to change. Like we got things to do.
We're
So
busy.
yeah.
The other thing though, just quickly, you know, it takes persistence, as you said, and it also takes an open mind. It takes a good attitude. It takes, I love what you're saying. Like it's, because with all the promises of, and I've done all that keto and like, working out, going to like Orange Theory and all those things. Though they make promises based on like a quick amount of time, right? Like in a week, you'll already see da da da. Da. And the thing is like for anyone who's done all those fads and all of that, it never actually sustained itself. And so in the end, I look back and all those years going like this and in turmoil inside, um, had I just given it 6 months or a year doing this, the end,
Yeah.
right? So to say like it takes so long and I can't not see results right away. It's kind of like that's a perpetuating, way to like a vacuum almost, whereas this is much more freeing.
Yes, I agree. And that in and of itself, people is a story. I'm always up and down. I can never sustain it. I can't, this is so hard and la 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 versus loving your way to your results,
Yeah.
visioning your way to results and believing, even if you don't in the moment, that you're capable of it and then
Yeah.
building. It's beautiful. So I'm going to finish us now just because I have a patient in 6 minutes. Thank you, Jen. It's always so amazing to sit down with you. You're such a bundle of energy and spirit and passion. And this conversation, I know, resonated with my heart. I'm sure it will resonate with every human, female's, even male's heart and soul. And I really hope through this, like I said, with my intention, that people can start to see that this isn't working. And if they can watch this video, this 30 minutes, and just see that this isn't working and start to maybe be illuminated to building what they want through love and acceptance now, then it's brilliant. It's just so brilliant. So,
Thanks
um,
for having me, Jodes. Like I love talking to you about this stuff and I hope that it helps anybody.
do another one on your career switch and how you went from photographer to fabric artist, and that'll be the next one. So, thank you
Okay.
so much. I love you. Mwah. Bye.
Hi, Jodes.